All right, welcome to your deep dive. We're diving into something really interesting today, a pretty unusual topic, I'd say.
Yeah.
The connection between longitudinal waves, attention, and shamanic practices.
Oh, wow.
So, you might be thinking, wait, what? But trust me, this is going to be a fascinating one.
It certainly is. We're going to be diving into some pretty mind-bending concepts, but maybe we should start with the basics first. I think, most people are familiar with transverse waves like light, where the energy moves up and down kind of while the wave travels forward.
Yeah.
Longitudinal waves are different, though. They're more like pulses of compression and expansion, kind of with the energy moving in the same direction as the wave.
Right.
Think of a sound wave.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's longitudinal waves in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But how are they created from these more familiar transverse waves?
Well, the source material refers to a process called translation of vorticity.
Okay.
Now, imagine a spiral on a cone.
Okay.
And a transverse wave traveling down that spiral.
Yeah.
When it emerges, it's transformed into a longitudinal wave.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wild analogy. How does that translate to real-world physics?
It gets a bit complex, but essentially it involves the transfer of angular momentum.
Okay.
Think of a spinning top,
Yeah.
That's vorticity.
Okay.
The spinning energy can be transferred to a wave, you see, changing its properties and transforming it from a transverse wave into a longitudinal one.
So why are these longitudinal waves so special? What makes them different from the waves that we're more familiar with?
Well, according to the source material, they have some remarkable characteristics.
Okay.
For one, they can supposedly travel faster than light. And they also suggest these waves possess what's called bioactivity, meaning they can influence living organisms.
Interesting.
And believe it or not, they might even be capable of transferring information across vast distances.
Faster than light. Hold on, doesn't Einstein's theory of relativity say that's impossible?
You're right. That's the current understanding in mainstream physics.
Yeah.
But some researchers are exploring the possibility that these waves operate under different principles, ones that we're only just beginning to understand.
Okay, I'm keeping an open mind here. But what about this bioactivity? What kind of evidence is there to support that claim?
The source material points to an experiment known as the Cunnis experiment.
Okay.
In this experiment, a specific radio frequency was transmitted through a spiral antenna, the same shape we were just talking about, to a glass of cold water.
Okay.
And incredibly, the water started to heat up, eventually reaching the point of boiling.
Boiling water. That's incredible. What's the scientific explanation for how that's even possible?
Well, the hypothesis is that the spiral antenna generated longitudinal waves, which then interacted with the water molecules, increasing their kinetic energy and causing the temperature to rise.
So imagine harnessing that to power your home with a glass of water.
Yeah.
It's a far-out concept, but it highlights the potential for, clean energy solutions using these principles.
Absolutely. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, really.
Right.
The source material goes on to connect longitudinal waves to something even more fascinating, the power of focused attention.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. The idea that our minds can influence the physical world has always kind of captivated me.
And there's some intriguing research to suggest it might be possible.
Yeah.
The source highlights the work of Ingo Swann, who reportedly could heat a thermistor, a device that measures temperature, with his mind.
Okay.
Even when it was shielded inside a Faraday cage.
Wait, a Faraday cage? So even electromagnetic interference was blocked. That's pretty mind-boggling. What's the explanation for this?
The theory is that focused attention, perhaps at a specific frequency, can generate these longitudinal waves within the brain, which then interact with matter in the external world.
So our thoughts could literally be generating these powerful waves. That's a pretty big claim.
It is indeed. And the source material even points to specific brainwave patterns that are associated with this phenomenon. Apparently, when people demonstrate this ability to influence matter with their minds, their brain waves show a distinct pattern. Golden ratio alpha to beta waves, 180 degrees out of phase.
Interesting.
It's like their brains are acting like antennas, transmitting a specific signal.
Okay, this is starting to sound like the scientific basis for things like, shamanic practices where practitioners claim to direct energy for healing and other purposes.
That's a fascinating connection and one worth exploring further.
Yeah.
And to help us understand how these waves might transform and interact, the source material introduces an analogy. The tsunami.
Yeah.
You see, just like a tsunami wave starts as compression in the open ocean,
Right.
and transforms into a towering transverse wave when it hits the shore.
Yeah.
Energy can manifest in different forms depending on the conditions.
Ah, so the same energy, different forms.
Yeah.
This tsunami analogy is really helping me understand how the same energy can manifest in different ways. So where does the dodecahedron fit into all of this?
Well, it's much more than just a cool-looking shape. The source material suggests it's actually a fundamental blueprint of the universe. They say it's found everywhere, from the structure of proteins and DNA to the Earth's energy grid itself.
So we're talking like universal design principles here. What makes the dodecahedron so special in this context, though?
Well, its unique geometry allows for incredibly efficient energy transfer. Think of it like this. If you were to arrange billiard balls in the shape of a dodecahedron and hit one ball, the energy would transfer perfectly to all the other balls, creating a kind of chain reaction.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here. So the dodecahedron acts like a conduit for energy, facilitating its flow and transmission. But how does this relate to those ideas of perfect ground in the cozy rev mirror you mentioned earlier?
That's a great question. Think of perfect ground as a state of energetic coherence and resonance. It's like creating a superhighway for energy and information to flow smoothly and efficiently.
So is the cozy rev mirror like a tool to help us tap into these Earth energy lines and create that perfect ground state?
That's one way to think about it. The Kozyrev mirror, named after the Russian astrophysicist Nikolai Kozyrev, is a device made of polished aluminum that's said to focus and amplify these subtle energies. Some researchers believe it can create a localized area of perfect ground, enhancing our ability to connect to the cosmic web, if you will.
A cosmic web, huh? So we're not just talking about energy transfer on a physical level, but also about information and maybe even consciousness.
Precisely. And the placement of structures, especially those with specific geometries like the dodecahedron, on Earth's energy lines is thought to further enhance this connection, creating powerful resonant fields.
So like strategically placing these structures to amplify our connection to this network of energy and information that's flowing through the Earth and beyond. This makes me think about ancient temples and sacred sites. Were they intentionally built on these energy lines to tap into this power?
That's a question that has intrigued researchers for centuries. Many ancient cultures placed huge significance on the location and orientation of their sacred spaces, often aligning them with celestial events and Earth's energy lines. It's possible they understood something about these subtle energies that we're only just beginning to rediscover.
It's like they left us a hidden code embedded in the landscape and the structures they built. And if we can crack that code, what kind of potential could we unlock? The source mentioned enhanced telepathy, connection to the collective unconscious, and even protection from negative energies.
Exactly. Imagine the possibilities. We could create spaces that enhance our intuition, deepen our connection to nature, and foster a sense of peace and well-being. We could design homes, schools, hospitals, even entire cities that harmonize with Earth's energies and support our collective evolution.
Wow, we're talking about a paradigm shift in architecture and urban planning. Instead of concrete jungles that drain our energy, we could have vibrant, thriving communities that nurture our minds, bodies, and spirits. But to get there, we need to start by understanding the principles at play, the role of longitudinal waves, sacred geometry, and the power of focused attention.
Absolutely. This knowledge can empower us to create a more harmonious and sustainable future. And it goes beyond just architecture and design. It can also help us understand ourselves better, our connection to the universe, and the untapped potential that lies within each of us.
You know, this whole concept of collective consciousness has always fascinated me. The idea that we're all interconnected on some deeper level.
And this source material offers a compelling explanation for how that interconnection might work through this network of longitudinal waves. Imagine it like a cosmic internet where information and energy are constantly flowing between all living beings.
So instead of just a metaphorical web of connection, we might actually be embedded in a literal network of energy and information. That's a pretty mind-blowing concept. What are the implications of that? What kind of information might be flowing through this network?
It's a question that sparks endless possibilities. Could we be tapping into the wisdom and experiences of those who came before us? Could we be influencing each other's thoughts and emotions on a subconscious level? And perhaps even more intriguing, could we access information from the past, the future, or even other dimensions through this network?
Okay, now we're getting into some seriously mind-bending territory. But it's also incredibly exciting. It challenges us to expand our understanding of what's possible and embrace the mystery and wonder of the universe we inhabit.
Exactly. And it reminds us that we're not just passive observers in this cosmic dance. We're active participants, constantly transmitting and receiving energy and information through our thoughts, emotions, and actions.
So our intentions really do matter. If we're all part of this interconnected web, then our choices and actions have a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
Precisely. This understanding underscores the importance of aligning our intentions with the highest good, knowing that we're contributing to the collective tapestry of consciousness.
This deep dive has been a wild ride so far,
Okay.
but it feels like we're just scratching the surface of something vast and mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
What if we could harness this knowledge and create a space that optimizes these principles? What would it look like and what would we use it for?
Yeah, a space designed to amplify our connection to this cosmic web, to enhance our intuition, maybe even facilitate communication across time and space.
Yeah. What would that space look like?
That's a fascinating thought experiment. I imagine a structure incorporating those powerful geometries we've discussed, the dodecahedron, the spiral,
Right.
maybe built with materials that resonate with Earth's energy,
Okay.
like natural stone or crystals.
Yeah, a blend of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. And where would this structure be located?
Somewhere energetically potent, of course, perhaps on a vortex point where those Earth energy lines converge, or aligned with specific celestial coordinates.
I can picture it now. Sunlight streaming through geometric windows, bathing the space in a warm glow. Maybe a central chamber with a cozy rev mirror, amplifying those subtle energies.
And imagine the possibilities within that space. It could be a place for deep meditation, for healing, for exploring the potential of collective consciousness.
Right.
We could even conduct experiments in there,
Yeah.
testing the limits of human perception and intention.
So it would be a hub for pushing the boundaries of human understanding. A modern-day temple dedicated to exploring the mysteries of consciousness and the universe.
Exactly. But even without such a specialized structure, the principles we've discussed can be applied in our everyday lives.
Right. We can be more mindful of our intentions, cultivate a deeper connection to nature, and explore practices like meditation to enhance our own energetic coherence.
Absolutely. And as we learn more about these subtle energies, who knows what other applications we might discover.
Yeah.
The potential is truly limitless.
Well, this deep dive has been a mind-expanding journey, to say the least. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on the interconnectedness of everything.
Me too. And it highlights the importance of keeping an open mind, questioning our assumptions, and embracing the unknown.
So to our listener, we encourage you to continue exploring these concepts.
Yeah.
Delve deeper into the research, experiment with different practices, and see how you can apply these principles to your own life.
And remember, you are a part of this vast and interconnected web.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, intentions, and actions matter more than you might realize.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of longitudinal waves, attention, and the mysteries of consciousness.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep shining your light.